What is up, YouTube? Welcome back. Aeneas here, and we've got another Monday meta update for you. Today is a great occasion for any of you who have been tired of the standard format currently, because I don't know if you've heard, but Meat Hook Massacre has been banned in standard, and so now that opens up room for new decks, new things to try out. Maybe Mono Black will get a little bit weaker, and maybe some other decks can push in there and take the lead. So, yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the things that are doing well so far in Standard. It's only been a couple days now, but yeah, let's take a look. So, just looking at the Standard meta tier list on GG, we see that in Standard Best of 1 from the last few days, Mono White Aggro has taken a massive lead as far as the best deck in the format, and it was already pretty strong before, pretty much at the top, but you know, Mono Black is not even in the top 4 anymore because they don't have a way to deal with aggro anymore. So Mono White, Gruul, and Mono Red all shot up a lot. Yeah, they're top to the top spots now. So aggro is king in best of 1 currently, and Celestial Enchantments surprisingly also moved up, maybe because it has some life gain and some hard to remove things for the aggro decks, and it's pretty quick, to be honest. So maybe that was enough to kind of make it good against the aggro decks, despite it not being as fast as them. But yeah, seems like black has kind of fallen down in best of 1 at least, and Esper Control also went down, and Rakdos a little bit, Grixis a little bit. Surprisingly, also Blue Tempo is down a little bit. Sample sizes are still small for the tier lists, but well, I guess, yeah, actually it makes sense that blue would be down because Mono Blue is beating up on all the black decks, so if black is gone, then Mono Blue is not doing as well. So yeah, makes sense. So best of 1 standard, aggro is king, Meat Hook's gone, so they can't kill it as well anymore, and the other board wipes don't really fit into the Mono Black decks. Yeah. If you've seen my video on the Esper domain, then we have plenty of other sweepers that work great against aggro, so I'll be very happy if aggro becomes the format, like the main deck in the format, because a sweeper heavy deck is gonna just have fun against aggro. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to aggro king meta, which also means control will be back on the menu again. So yes, I'm very happy about that. All right, so that's standard best of 1. Best of 3 hasn't really shaken up too much yet. I mean, there's still very, very small sample size for the, sorry, I have them a little bit out of order, but for best of 3 standard for the past few days, yeah, sample size is very small on GG, only about 300 games for a lot of decks, but we did see a little bit of a change. So this is the Esper Legends deck, which had gotten a little bit popular recently because it's pretty much just a very good value deck. None of the cards are particularly super crazy, but they all have kind of like a 2-for-1 value in them. And so because of that, it's just hard to deal with, hard to kill, and as long as their curve is, you know, somewhat decent, 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop, then they're probably getting more value out of their cards than you, and against aggro, that's how you win, right? So Esper Legends seems to be picking up. Best of 3, super high win rate, 65% so far. We'll have to see if it pans out in the future, but it looks pretty good right now. Naya midrange also picking up. So this is basically mono white with better cards, but you sacrifice your colors a little bit because you have to add green and red for the Alana and Elena. But it was honestly pretty strong before, so without Meat Hook, just gets better. So those two are at the top right now. We still do see that Rakdos midrange is doing well, and this is typically the ones I've seen are a newer version, which mostly just has the small creatures and the this Fable of the Mirrorbreaker, and then Invoke is your top end. So they cut out some of the other things like Lily. They cut out some. Of course, they cut out the meat hooks because meat hooks are gone. So yeah. So Rakdos still doing pretty well. A much smaller version of Rakdos. It seems like less greedy. And so yeah, it's still different change of pace, and interested to see how that works out. And this is a new one. So before the meat hook ban, mono white in best of 3 was not doing great. It was okay, but not great. But after the ban, I mean, there's not that many games, but so far, it's already showing good win percentages. So we can see that just not having your 1-drops killed, like, you know, Intrepid Adversary getting killed, or Guardian of New Benalia getting killed from the meat hook, suddenly mono white is much more resilient in the best of 3 format. All right, so that's kind of how it shifted. We can also look at just like what's going on, the win percentages and stuff like that. This one is not based on the date, so it's a little bit out of date, but still currently mono white and mono red and Gruul are in the top. Enchantments is 4th, so that's kind of what we saw. And in best of 3, looks like Rakdos as of today is still the most highest win rate, and also Grixis, Esper are both having high win rates today, but not overall as we saw. Overall, the other decks like Naya and mono white are coming up in the best of 3 format. All right, so that's a little bit of a taste of the new standard without meat hook, and let's take a look at some tournaments that happened over the weekend. The biggest one was this Pizza Box Open, and there was actually a lot of interesting decks in this one. So first of all, let's get it out of the way. Grixis midrange did take down the tournament, getting first place. Basically, you know, kind of what I mentioned about that smaller Rakdos deck: Bloodtithe Harvester, Fable of the Mirrorbreaker, Corpse Appraiser, Shieldred, and a bunch of removal spells. So kind of like it almost looks like a control deck, if I'm being honest, because of how much removal and counter spells they have. But it has a few of those like high value creatures, like Bloodtithe Harvester for killing stuff, getting you the tokens. Fable, you can copy it and kill stuff for free. Corpse Appraiser, you get something free card by exiling a creature, and then you can copy it, get another free card, etc. And Shieldred is just a strong card. So yeah. So yeah, that's still there. It's still, you're still gonna have to deal with it. It still has Invoke Despair in it. But they don't have meat hooks. They don't have sweepers. So now aggro decks are gonna do much better against this, and maybe it'll get pushed out of the format because of the aggro decks if they become more popular. All right, that's out of the way. Let's get on to the spicy stuff. So second place was Bant Midrange. Bant Midrange, that's a completely new deck, never seen before. Takes down second place. So let's take a look at it. This has Wandering Emperor, Elspeth Resplendent. Nice. Renin 7. I almost said 6. Also a really strong card that didn't see much play before. Now it's showing up. And then we see Tamio. Ooh, Tamio the Completed Sage. Spicy one of in there. And the mid-range part of it is Anointed Peacekeeper and Shana to draw you cards, gain you life. Denick, Matilda, and Ao and Gala Greeters and stuff like this. So seems like a kind of interesting conglomeration of just random things. And Storm the Festival, that makes a little bit more sense. So just a lot of cards that are pretty well statted and have some value when they come down. And then also some life gain synergy with Shana to get you some card draw. And then you end up with these big planeswalkers at the end to get a lot of value, and Storm Festival to get a lot of value. So interesting. Very new deck we haven't seen before, so hard to gauge like if this was a one-of tournament win or not, but props to Larry here. I mean, he took it down. I took second place with this deck, and definitely looks interesting. Just kind of like a creature value deck with Storm the Festival at the top end. So kind of like almost like a Coco deck in Historic, just going a little bit bigger. So cool. Yeah, very interesting deck. All right, third place was Mono White Control, Wandering Emperor, Elspeth, Ambitious Farmhand, Sanctuary Warden. Love that card. That's the big angel that draws you cards and makes you tokens. So still seeing play, still good. Bank Buster, Wedding Announcement, Restoration, Farewell. So this, yeah, basically like it says, it's a control deck. A lot of planeswalkers, and a few of the creatures that buy you some time and get you some card draw when they come down. So this one just fixing your land, and it's a blocker. So pretty useful, pretty nice, and cool. Yeah, interesting deck. Very interesting deck. All right. This one has been around a little while, but nice to see that it's picked up third place at that really big tournament. So yeah, without me hook, this becomes better. You know, your Emperor tokens probably get better without me hook, to be honest. And even the tokens from the Sanctuary Warden will get better. Sanctuary Warden itself can't be killed with the meat hook anymore, so that's also better. So yeah, I could actually see Sanctuary Warden being really scary now in the new format. So sweet. And there's a few other decks here if you want to check it out. Again, that's the Pizza Box Open. Very cool tournament with a lot of players in it. And the only other notable tournament that I saw was the Saturday weekly standard tournament, and Rakdos Midrange took that one down. Pretty standard list there. Abzan Aggro got second place. So this is a new deck with Phyrexian Missionary and Rafine. That's not Abzan, that's Esper. So maybe they accidentally put the wrong tag there. But AO is kind of new. Edgar, we haven't seen a lot of Edgar because of Meat Hook. So that's nice to see that back. And yeah, it's kind of interesting deck. So I think tokens and a lot of 1/1s, things that had 1/1s, are probably coming back in the format. Maybe you hate it if you had the Orzhov standard that we had a couple standards ago with a bunch of tokens and stuff like that. So I don't know. We'll see if it's better or not, but at least it's different. We get something interesting until the next set comes out in November. So we got less than a month really until the next set. So I think that kind of covers it for all the new tournaments and the new decks coming out in standard right now. Nothing too much going on historic, and you know, alchemy is still kind of the wild west out there if you're into that format. But as far as standard, things are looking bright. Still like not settled now, especially with the ban. And I think if you're an aggro lover, you're going to be very happy. And I think in probably about a week, maybe 2 weeks, then if you're a control lover, you know, your control decks are going to be pretty good against those aggro decks. So we'll have to see how things kind of pan out in a little bit. So stay tuned. I'll be sure to have a lot more tweaked control decks that are perfect for destroying all those aggro weenies in the coming few weeks. So yeah, look out for that. And until next time, go out there, enjoy, and see ya.